I was stewardship chairman, I was senior warden, I was treasurer, sometimes all at the same time. I also told Jane that I was treasurer of 2 country clubs and currently serve as chairman of the endowment committee of the United Way of St. Lucie County. I think Jane was satisfied. Don Davis and I collaborated on the treasurer's report this year, and we actually debated back and forth as to who should give the report. But he asked me to do it, and so I'm here. I have to repeat what Father Todd said. We should all take great pride in the many ministries working at St. Mary's who touch so many lives in so many ways, locally and beyond. You'll remember that we did raise $78,000 odd for the bishop for the survivors of Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas, but that's just one example. From a financial perspective, we try to start each year with a balanced budget. In 2019, that budget was approximately $1.4 million. While successfully funding over 50 of our ministries, we did end up the year with a net operating loss of $82,000, due in large part to expenses in a transition year and a shortfall in plane offerings. Fortunately, we were able to cover this loss with reserves. As you're hearing, the clergy and the vestry have big plans for growth in our Christian mission in 2020. But we all know your treasure is where your heart is. While we're promoting a stewardship campaign and culture of giving at St. Mary's, the success of our stewardship campaign this year will determine the extent of the mission plans in 2020. And we ask you to pray on that. Our 3-year capital campaign has also raised about $1.4 million, and we do have $275,000 available for future capital improvements, which Peter will talk about. Our statements have been audited through the year-end 2018, and we're advised that we expect to receive a satisfactory audit for 2019 as well. Don and I would like to thank the members of the Finance Committee and the staff for all their help in supporting the work that we do in overseeing the financial affairs here at St. Mary's. Thank you for your attention. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions on the church financials. I'm in the directory. And finally, this week, I hope to have copies of our year-end financial statements in the church office for your consumption. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. And please be sure to add Bob to your prayer list and his wife, Beth, who will have a neglected honey-do list too, I suspect. Peter Dayton and the capital campaign. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. I want to thank everyone for your generous support of the capital campaign. We've tried to be good stewards of your money. I'm proud to say that we've done a lot over the last 3 years. We have a safe parking lot resurfacing out here. As we had said before, we've got reserves now for roof repairs, for air conditioner replacement, so it doesn't impact our operating budget. We have done this audio-visual. We have connected both campuses with high-speed fiber, allowing us to broadcast our services over the internet in real time. We have done the audio-visual in the church. We have done campus painting. The entire campus has been painted. We've put a whole bunch of other projects on the way. The biggest thing right now we're trying to do is to finish out by the renovation of Ross Hall. Yes. Yeah, that's the 11 o'clock service going on in real time. Right. So we can watch it, and we can monitor events in each facility in real time. So we can do that now with this high-speed fiber, and it can be broadcast and recorded and accessed through our website due to that high-speed fiber. So that's one of the things. Ross Hall and the Pittenger Center renovation is our biggest project right now. And what that entails is some things that are literally under the ground, which you're not going to really see, but there's some desperate need for things like floor drains in the bathrooms out here, which we don't have. So when toilets overflow, they come out into the carpet. Things like that need to be fixed. We're going to renovate this facility into a state-of-the-art facility so we can use it for receptions, meetings, worship, and dining and banquet facilities. We want to be able to have this facility compete with places like the Kane Center and other facilities in this community to allow people to come and use this facility. We also saw a need to renovate this facility for weddings. We see a lot of people coming and wanting to have weddings in our church. They come over here, and the acoustics and the visuals of this banquet room were kind of not really a selling point. So renovating this facility was on our list, and the facilities committee and the vestry felt that it was worth projecting. Do we have those renderings? They're in the lobby. Okay, I don't know if they were going to project the renderings or not, but so we're going to renovate the lobby. We're going to have a sacristy built, so you'll have a door over here, and there'll be a room over there for our altar guild to store things and have a new sacristy room. That will also have a stairwell, because there's a storage facility. There's a storage room up above the lobby here, which nobody can access. All we need is a stairwell. So we'll have lots of storage up here, which we desperately need. We're going to have a bathroom back in meeting room 3 over here, so staff can use that restroom without coming through here during events. So we'll have a separate bathroom over here. And the sacristy, we'll renovate this. This will be renovated. And this audiovisual booth will be removed from back here, and it'll be upstairs above the doors where the clock is. So there'll be a small little balcony and a workroom up there with a spiral staircase accessible for the staff, and so we'll have more room in the back here. So those are the kinds of things that we're looking for. And if you can, please look at the renderings if you want, and I'll be happy to answer questions about the renovations of the Pittenger Center. The other challenge we had was a challenge of the church. We renovated the audiovisual system, and I think it's worked out quite well. One of the deterrents of people attending the church in the traditional service has been the accessibility of a bathroom for people that are mobility challenged. So we looked at a lot of different things, and we came up with an idea to use one of the bathrooms that's in the nursery or the choir room, renovate that bathroom so it accesses in the covered walkway, and then build an ADA compliant ramp from the door so they can come out that door, go across the covered walkway right across from the church itself, and then access a bathroom and get back in. Bob did some research, and he says there's like 35 to 50 people don't come to church because they can't get access to a bathroom. They have to walk all the way down to the other end of the nursery, and that's just too far, and there's steps, and it's very difficult for them. So we thought that was well worth the effort. So that plan is ongoing right now. We have to get an architect to look at that. We've had one, and we're going to get some costing on that, and I'll take that to the facilities committee and work up through the vestry for approval for that. So that's where we're at, and I want to thank everybody. We are moving forward with our facilities. I'm going to remain on the facilities committee, but off the vestry, because I'm kind of getting immersed in a little project called the Cleveland Clinic Martin integration. So, but thank you all. Do you have any questions?
Let me. So we're going to go into a time of Q&A.
Oh yeah.
And
okay.
so then you can be free to ask questions of anybody
Yeah.
who's done a report. Let me just say one additional thing, just to give us
Yes.
all a heads up. So during the construction, we will not be able to meet in this space.
Right.
And so the timing of the construction is planned to be the summer.
If we got the funds.
And so we will have an opportunity. People are always asking the question, why can't the services meet together? Well, so this summer we will have an opportunity to explore that. So we'll have a combined service at 9 o'clock with combined different styles of worship and music, and then there will be an 11 o'clock service that'll be traditional. So it'll be different than our normal summer experience, but it'll just be a few months and an experience in Christian community and brotherly and sisterly love.
That's right.
There you go. All right. So, Peter, thank you.
Thank you.
So let me throw. It's about 20 minutes after 11. Let me throw open the floor for questions. If you have questions about any of the reports that you've heard, or about anything else. Wow. Are you ready to? Great reports. Excellent. All right. Are you? I see a hand. I knew. All right, John. Peter. There you go.
They were put on the back burner because of funding. Oh, the question was about the choir pit in the church, and we're not raising the choir pit to the level of the altar as one of the projects. And we put that on the back burner for several reasons. One was funding, but the other reason was when we got the audiovisual engineers to come in here, they said that they could probably improve the acoustic environment in the pit and put mics, which they have done now, so our choir is heard throughout the church through the miking of their voices down in the pit. Because as a member of the choir, it's difficult down there before, but I think it's better now. Yeah, and it seems better for us to hear the preaching, because before sometimes it was unintelligible. We couldn't even understand what the priests were saying.
But I hear that from everybody.
Yeah, right, yeah. And it was just a bad acoustics. It was just bad acoustics. So, I think once we get the bathroom done, we can always move forward, and if the vestry wants to pursue that, that's something that we can do in the next 3 years.
There you go.
Okay.
Good. Other questions, comments? Yeah. So the question is, do we have somebody that we're interviewing regarding the Sunday school Christian ed position? And so we've created this position that we're calling the Director of Spiritual Formation for Youth and Their Families. The question, so we as I said, we have a committee that was formed, and we began to deliberate and began to move forward, but then the softness of the budget began to say, oh, do we have the funding in order to be able to, or how much funding is there going to be? So there's been speculation, everything from we're going to need to just organize a crew of volunteers, and volunteers will need to do it, which is what we've been doing for this past year. Everything from that to, is it possible for us to hire somebody who has a background in the area of spiritual formation for kids, to be able to see what their expertise could bring? And my experience has been in places where you have somebody who's trained and specialized in that area, it makes a tremendous amount of difference in the energy and the vision that goes on. So what's the difference between that and this? Money is the difference. And so that's why we mentioned it in the stewardship campaign. We do have people who are interested in applying for a position, but we have to see how much we have in terms of funding in order to be able to make that available. So we're interested in what the results of the stewardship campaign are going to be, so that we can make those plans. Thank you. Yes, Bob. Okay, Peter?
Yeah, and once again, it's a matter of funding. It's merely extend the, I turned it off we can extend the storeroom out here out onto the porch and then use this existing storeroom for more workspace. But it's just a matter of, do we have enough funds to do it? Right now, we've gotten a draft and a budget for what we've got approved through the vestry, the improvements that the architect had drafted, which did not include anything in the kitchen initially, because once again, we just didn't know how much money we were going to be able to spend. We had pie-in-the-sky ideas, but we had to pare things down. And we still may have to pare things down depending on how much money we can raise in the capital campaign to meet the obligations of what we have existing working drawings for. That's what we've costed out. That's what we've had two contractors give us specific bids on the existing working drawings, and I think we're pretty much happy with one of the contractors. So that's an $800,000 investment that we need to raise that kind of money to get. Now, we can raise money also by selling niches and ground plots in the Memorial Garden and return some of the money that the capital campaign gave to the Memorial Garden, or lent the Memorial Garden to be accurate, for the building of the Memorial Garden. And as we generate revenue in the sales of the ground plots and the niches and the scatter garden use, we can recoup some of those funds, and that'll help us expand. And if that money comes in, then I don't think that's a problem. I think it's very much doable, because that's cinder block walls and some ventilation and a roof. So and I'm happy to proceed with that, and we'll work at that as soon as we have the money.
Great, thank you. So just to make sure that you heard that, so you heard me hold up a brochure for the Memorial Garden. So the Memorial Garden work was there was a loan essentially to the Memorial Garden with the expectation that the sales of niches will reimburse the capital funds and make those funds available for additional construction. And so so if you're thinking about purchasing a niche, making plans in the future, it's a great time. We'll make you a deal, so we can free up some of that capital so that we could put it to work now. So Kathy, Paul, and then Barbara. Kathy. Oh, and Eva.
Very quickly.
Yes, Kathy.
I was on the committee a couple of years ago with you when we were doing the planning, the visioning. For the Pittenger, are we still going to redo the bathrooms as well?
Yes.
So you're going to have to repeat. Do you have the microphone?
No, I don't.
There you go.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yes.
And stop turning it off.
Yes. Yes, we are going to renovate both bathrooms. Patty Downing has been gracious enough to provide her expertise and talents, and she's picked out new paint, new countertops. Everything is going to be really beautifully done. And we didn't spend the money to get a rendering of the bathroom, but yeah. But these are the renderings here of how this facility will, and the lobby. And yes, the bathrooms will be completely redone because we're going to have to tear the floors out to get the drains put in anyway. So yes, it's definitely going to be better.
Thank you. Paul.
Quick question, it's probably more for Bob, financial information.
Microphone.
Could we get that electronically or requested by email rather than paper copies? Electronic copies of the financials.
They should be in your
Repeat-
box
could you
tomorrow.
Repeat the question. Repeat the question.
The new vestry members requesting that the financial information be provided electronically. You will get a financial package from the clerk of the vestry that will include a lot of that information this week.
So are you talking about vestry members, oncoming vestry members, or you're talking about just in general? Electronically.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were speaking for as a new vestry person. Okay. That's a good question, and I guess we'll have to take that. I see no reason why we couldn't do it. I just need some counsel as to how we'd make it happen. But I'm sure Ann and I can figure it out.
Okay, good. Thank you. So let's go to Eva and then Barbara. There you go.
since 2018, we do not have any more vestry minutes on the website. Now, I'm pretty involved in the church and I know what's going on, but it's still, this meeting opened up my eyes and ears to a lot I didn't know. And because we do not get copies of the minutes anymore. So if that could be done, I think I'm not the only one who appreciates that.
Yeah, let me see. Is Ann here? Ann was here. So let me just say, our website is going through renovation. And so things are being updated, and so the goal is for there to be a vestry corner, and so the minutes should easily be available there. On the website. That's what I'm saying. So on the website, the website, if you've gone to the website, so I will say that the website is not as helpful as I think it could be or ought to be. We now have a new webmaster who is working on renovating the website and bringing it up to speed. So there will be more things available that will be easier to access, and so we'll be able to, right now I can't really point people to the website very much because the most current information often isn't there. And so our hope is for that to be able to be turned around this year. Great, thank you. Barbara. Repeat the question.
The question is, does the 800,000 include renovation of the kitchen? No. No, the 800,000 involves the renovation of this facility with new ceilings and treatments up here. It involves new lighting. It involves the lobby renovation, the bathroom renovation, the new sacristy, the stairwells up to the new storage area, and the new bathroom back in meeting room 3. No. That's the $800,000 budget for, that's what's budgeted by the contractors. And that includes a 20% buffer for unaccountable expenses as we go through the building project. But that's just the nut for this renovation on this campus, in this building. So we have $200 and something thousand existing, and that money, I think, if we raise 800,000, we'll have plenty for this, the bathroom, and probably that too. Yeah, I haven't costed that out. I haven't been able to cost that out yet. All I've got costing for, and that's the problem. I can dream. I'll build anything you want if you give me the money. I'll do it. I promise you, and we'll do it on a dime. I mean, we painted this campus for $15,000. Think of that, the entire campus, and it did a beautiful job. We got that done for less than $50,000, that parking lot. So we have some very, very sharp people who've worked very hard to be good stewards of your money. We'll keep doing that, but once again, if you can raise the money for me, we will be good stewards of it, and we'll get these things done for you.
Right. Thank you.
I promise.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Barbara. Or Gail, I'm sorry. I was thinking Barbara. Thank you.
I just want to bring us back to the fundraising. It's kind of quieted down, but you know, in that courtyard, we have a lovely area with the bricks. And those bricks really, they're very helpful as far as the fundraising.
Yep.
Bring in quite a bit.
It all goes into the same pool.
Right.
I'd like to get that back in our little news and events and see if we can get that back. And what? Oh, eventually, in beyond the courtyard, there's a lovely area, goes out where the play yard
Playground.
is. And there's a small area there that will also be bricks for pets. So if you'd like to do that too.
There you go.
Oh, I
There you
don't
go.
know if it,
There you go.
I don't
There you go.
remember offhand.
All right.
I don't remember.
Other questions? I see Janet. I see that hand.
If you take the total number of membership of St. Mary's, divided by how much money you need, per person, how much would that be? I mean, you can't come up with that right now, I know, but that would be an interesting number, because I have no idea where, like, you know, Fourth and I gave money now, would that be helpful, and how much, if everybody gave, let's just say number, $400 more than what they do. Could we just cut to the chase and get some of this time cut off waiting for money and everything?
For the
I mean,
capital campaign you're talking about?
Yeah, a capital campaign to say, how many members do we have at St. Mary's?
1,600
over 600
active.
600
About
active.
1,600 on the books, right?
Yeah, because people are working so hard, and as Pete says, he'd be working to get things built, and so there's this red light that's stopping it. And I think there's such a spirit of generosity in this church. I see it all the time. I think if we had that number, you might be surprised what
Right.
God will do.
Right, right. So we'll see what happens with the stewardship campaign, and then be able to, or you can give her the microphone, and then see how it is that we can move forward. That's great. Let's do a couple more questions, and then go ahead, Trina.
So I'm Trina Perna, and I've been a member of this church for like 20 years. And this year, I'm continuing on the stewardship committee, and Michelle and I are co-chairs, and Steve's been on it. And I think you've seen maybe a little bit difference in our stewardship campaign. In the past, we focused on sharing you the exact number and asking you for a 3% increase or an 8% increase in that. Father Todd, I don't know if you guys are aware, there's a new book in the office, and it has been for about 3 years. It's called Not Your Parents' Offering Plate. And so in that, they really encourage us as a charitable institution that our dollars are being competed for like they never were in the past. In the past, it was very easy for us to say, this is our church, this is our deficit, divide it by the number of the people, increase your pledge by this amount. And that's a traditional way, and I know this church, having been a member here for over 20 years, we're used to that kind of ask. And what we've been asked to do by Father Todd is to take on a whole new culture. Because what we're seeing in the charitable organizations that are successful, what they're selling is a vision. They're not selling you a bill. They're not selling you an invoice. They're selling you a vision. And so that is what we are trying to do here at St. Mary's. With Barry's wonderful inspirational videos, we're trying to show you what we can do. When we do give the information, like Bob said, that we were 78 short, hope that goes to show you that we took that 78 out of reserves, and so those are monies that we have to make up. Every year we run the stewardship campaign, and when Steve was he helped us set our goals. We would like 400 families of the 600 plus that we send out just to reply, and we get 300. A lot of that is because we have a lot of attrition. We have older members that leave for one reason or another. And by the grace of God, we have been able to replace every one of any member that we left that pledged and pledged again, and have steadily increased it. But if we could get 400 families of the 600, if we could get 2/3 of us to contribute, we wouldn't have these funding problems. And so, ask yourself, ask your neighbor, are we really doing a lot? And remember, what our number one campaign goal for stewardship this year is the operating fund. We do love the facilities. We want our facilities to be more user-friendly. We want this space to be something that people will want to be in, that will give us more revenue. But we also want to be able to meet our annual budget. And so that's our number one goal in stewardship. And if we had that 6 of those 300 families, and we're $80,000 short, so just of those 300 families that each increased theirs by $500, we could have made it. So those are the kind of numbers. If you need the hard cold data, Bob will be putting it out there, and I know we can get it scanned as a PDF and get it on. That's not going to be a problem. But we really have to ask ourselves, are we putting this mission first? Are we putting our everyday lives first, which is this space and our bathrooms? Those are everyday things. They need to inspire us. Are we just taking care of all of our ministries? And if we can take care of every day, then the future will take care of itself.
Thank you, Trina. Thank you very much. Trina, Michelle, and the Stewardship Committee have done just an awesome job this year. So thank you to them. One last question? Yes, Dale.
Thank you. I couldn't sit down here and not say something about the kitchen. Bob kind of told it like we discussed it a little bit with Dr. Dayton the other day. Whatever we do to the kitchen under the current plans is going to interfere with our workflow. Not only our 52 meals a year that we serve, but for any outside activities where you're serving food. I want us to pay close attention to just what is done in that area. Bob mentioned we could push out over the loading platform and put in a extra room there, which would give us more storage space, which we terribly need right now. We're getting a lot of food and no place to store it. I don't know if the city will allow us to go out beyond whatever the setback is, but I assume it may be at least up to the wall where the loading platform is, and it does make sense to push that out, which would give us more room in the old little pantry. I don't know if for the facilities committee or Dr. Dayton said check with the city, the architect, anybody, to see what the setback is. But I do want to remind you, when the city put in a new sidewalk here some years ago, they put it on mostly on our property. If you look at the survey, you'll find out, and that was without the church's permission. That's when Father Tom Pittenger was here. So keep that in mind in case they say you can't go the setback. Well, give us back our property, which is on the sidewalk. And Peter, I think we ought to, if the city will let us go out that far, maybe get an architect to do a little quick sketch to see what it would look like and then price it out. You mentioned a while ago we don't have the money yet to do the kitchen repairs or renovations, so nothing's happening. But that could be added to that, and then maybe we have a big capital campaign just for the kitchen. Maybe my kitchen volunteers would help out a lot. I know Bob would.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Anyway,
Thank you, Dale.
try to work with us, okay?
We will.
Thank you,
we're
Dale.
the guys that use it and knows what goes on more than anybody else.
That's fine.
Thank you, Dale, very much. The chair is open to a motion to adjourn this meeting. Is there a second? That was, you know, it's wonderful to hear unanimity here. All in favor? Opposed? There's a table with documents in it. Please browse those. There's more coffee back there. Hang around, enjoy each other. Thank you.